Expect me, nigga, like you expect Jesus to come back. Expect me, nigga, I'm coming. Expect me, nigga, like you expect Jesus to come back. Expect me, nigga, I'm coming.
So, I don't know, you probably maybe have saw the press conference. Tupac finally came out of hiding.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a car in 50 miles.
You know what I just thought of, right?
Kenny and Darla,
You believe that story?
that they had to go looking for her head.
They only found the car.
They never found her head.
What's he doing?
The hell is that? He dumped something down that pipe.
Wrapped in a sheet.
Nah, don't block my way and don't hit my lawyer. Tupac, you think this is a bum ramp?
You're at a gun show in the US, so why not pick up an autograph from the killer of Trayvon Martin? Sitting quietly in a corner of the exhibition in Orlando, Florida, George Zimmerman signs photos and is ready for a chat, revealing a slice of life for the controversial figure who was acquitted of the murder and manslaughter of the black teenager last year. Apparently making this public appearance as a thank you to the owner of the gun show who supported him throughout the trial. Zimmerman was accused of racially profiling, following and shooting 17-year-old Trayvon in a gated neighborhood as he was returning from a convenience store. He claimed self-defense, and the trial shone a spotlight on Florida's Stand Your Ground law, which allows someone in fear of his or her life to use lethal force, which Zimmerman did. It prompted a series of protests about a law which many view as a license to commit murder, and even led to comment from US President Barack Obama. Since his acquittal, Zimmerman has had several brushes with the law. As well as being stopped twice for speeding, he was questioned by police in September after his estranged wife called authorities saying he'd threatened her with a gun.
Today we met up with George Zimmerman at this gun store, asking him what life has been like since he was acquitted of murder last year.
How come you stayed in Florida? Why didn't you just leave?
I didn't. I went all over the United States. I met great people from here to Texas and even up north.
Do you plan to stay here or do you plan to leave?
I plan to go wherever the wind takes me.
Why not just change your name, wear a hat, disguise yourself, and then live your life the way you want to live your life?
Sure, I do disguise myself. I do wear a hat and sunglasses, etc. But I'll never change my name. I've had so much taken away from me. I'll never let someone take my name away from me. Same reason I won't leave the United States. This is my country, and I won't leave. No one's going to make me leave.
Do you have any remorse?
In which aspect?
In what had happened on February 26th?
Sure, and again, I hate to deflect, but I have to because of the Department of Justice's investigation.
And what happened the night you and your girlfriend were calling 911 on each other?
Again, I can't answer that.
But you seem happy and you're back together again.
I mean, you mean with her? I try to be as happy as I can with everybody, yes.
Zimmerman wouldn't talk about his domestic dispute with his estranged wife, Shelley. He realizes his actions are being closely watched and says he still gets death threats.
What's it been like since the trial for you to try and live a normal life?
I think America can answer that. From what I understand, my speeding ticket was the first internationally publicized speeding ticket. So there's a tremendous amount of interest. There's a tremendous amount of everything I do is hyper scrutinized, and I realize that. So I try to stay out of it.
Zimmerman tells us he's getting treated for post-traumatic stress disorder as he goes from hotel to hotel.
It is a challenge, I can tell you that much.
And what is it that keeps you going?
My faith in God.
He tells us he wants to go back to school one day and get his degree.
Zimmerman says he still walks around with a gun for his own safety. He's not sure when the Department of Justice investigation into the shooting of Trayvon Martin will be completed. In Orlando, Valerie Roy, Fox 35 News.
Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those eyes?
Is this your idea of a little adventure?
I'm just gonna look.
Hello? You know the part in scary movies where somebody does something really stupid and everybody hates them for it? This is it.
Every 23rd spring, for 23 days, it gets to eat.
Eat.
What the hell is that thing?
It's stuck in reverse!
He must have 5, maybe 600 bodies down there.
You've got something it likes, one of you.
You think he's dead?
They never are.
Jeepers Creepers. Expect me, nigga, like you expect Jesus to come back.
They got my friends laughing, you alone.
Expect me, nigga, like you expect Jesus to come back.
They got my friends laughing, you alone.
Expect me, nigga, like you expect Jesus to come back.
They got my friends laughing, you alone. That I refuse to let you go, Lord. Cause Tupac said so. Tonight it was 5%. Jumping off the cliff, now it's making a lot of sense. So it seems, with all the visions and dreams, walking the king. And Lord, Tupac was the deep. Revelation, find salvation, read the first few paragraphs. I tried to tell some of my closest friends, but you were laughing, yeah. I even tried to tell my mama, she put me in a crazy home and left me to wonder why. It almost made me cry. And why was I watched for 10 days and die? If I die, that will be them. My last trip was been believe that I was destined to be that she I'm seeing it happen right before my eyes. And there's no such thing as fate. Told a lie, go ahead and abandon me. Leave me with Christianity. So can it be there was some truth in my insanity?
Expect me, nigga, like you expect Jesus to come back.
They got my friends laughing, you alone.
Expect me, nigga, like you expect Jesus to come back.
They got my friends laughing, you alone.
Expect me, nigga, like you expect Jesus to come back.
They got my friends laughing, you alone. That I refuse to let go. It's Armageddon, cause Tupac said so.
Shot a speed runner. Neil. Dog life, bitch. Going out like that. Shot a speed runner. Shot a speed runner. Shot a speed runner. Judy. Shot a speed runner. Dog life, bitch. Going out like that.
Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those peepers? Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those eyes?
You know, there are 4 things you are told never to talk about. Well, actually, there's 3 things you're told never to talk about, and the 4th one you're never even told not to talk about, because even being told not to talk about it seems to be something that you just don't want to talk about. And, of course, the 3 are politics, religion, and money, and the 4th being race war. Now, I know, even bringing up that subject, people are looking at me from the other side of the glass. Oh, my goodness, we're going to get hate mail now. You know, this is something that needs to be talked about. It really, truly does. You know, there are divisions being created in this nation around everything, around political affiliation, sexual orientation, income level. But one of the ones that's being ignored the most is this growing race war. And I am not kidding. You know, recently, I live in Wisconsin. About a year ago, there were 100 young people who went car to car during a state fair. They went car to car, pulled people out of the car, and started beating them. The media didn't report who was being beat and who was doing the beating. And it happened all over the nation. And I wanted to bring it up. I wanted to talk about it. So we needed to find somebody who has a little bit of expertise in this area. And we did. His name is Colin Flaherty. Now, you've seen his articles on WorldNet Daily. He also wrote the book, White Girl Bleed a Lot. Welcome to the show, sir. How you doing?
Happy to be here, Josh.
Well, I got to tell you, when we talking about bringing this up, it seemed to be a taboo subject. Let's just start there. Why is this something that we just can't seem to talk about?
Well, maybe because people don't know how to talk about race without sounding racist. So what I do is this: no generalizations, no stereotypes, but also no apologies. So I just stick to the facts, and I documented how in more than 70 cities, hundreds of examples around the country, including Wisconsin, there's been some really nasty racial violence that people just don't want to talk about.
Well, let's talk about some of those examples, because I don't think the media covers it enough. So a lot of people might be thinking, well, you guys are just full of hot air. If this was really happening, I would have heard about it. Give us some examples of racial tensions exploding.
Well, it's funny. I hear that as well. I heard that from an agent. She said, "Well, I'm a news junkie, and if this had been happening, I would have heard about it." Well, the press doesn't report it. The best example is one I took for the title of my book, From Milwaukee, where last July the 4th, 50 to 100 black people went into a convenience store. They looted it. And, free groceries and free candy in hand, they went to a nearby park, beat up 10 to 15 kids having a July 4th picnic. And at some point, a black woman was standing over a white woman, and she pointed to her friend and said, "Hey, look at this. White girl bleed a lot." And so that's half the story. The other half is they called the cops. The cops didn't take a report. The people the next day go down to the police station and say, what are you doing to catch those people who, beat us up and terrorized us? And the cops said, "What are you talking about? We don't know. We don't have a report on that." So finally, they called up talk radio. They went to the internet. They forced the police to look into this. So that story has a semi-happy ending. You multiply what I just said by 200, several examples in Wisconsin. It happens in the big places where you might expect it. It also happens in small places where you wouldn't expect it. Peoria, Illinois.
Peoria, Illinois. I have driven through Peoria, Illinois. It doesn't take that long. It's not that big. What happened in Peoria?
Peoria has had at least 12 to 15 examples of racial violence in the last 1 year. Groups of 50 to 100 black people charging through the downtown, walking through neighborhoods, beating people up, stopping cars, threatening people, destroying property. And one guy wrote about it, and the city council. One guy wrote about it, and the local newspaper guy writes a column, and he says, "I don't believe you because you did not take your video camera out at 11 o'clock at night and go into the middle of this crowd and videotape it." I mean, all the neighbors were saying, "Yeah, the guy's got it. This happened." The newspaper literally didn't believe it.